I'll do this out here. I'm going to do the speech out here. If you come, we'll start now. If you take the book, and it's up here, and you settle there. Okay? It's quite true, Eryximachus. I shall take a different line from you and Pausanias. I shall try and initiate you into the real secret of love's power. It's all to do with the prototype of man and the modifications that have been introduced to the model. Once upon a time, there were 3 sexes: male, female, and hermaphrodite. Every human being was circular with a round back and sides. They had 4 hands and 4 legs and 2 identical faces looking in opposite directions. They had 4 ears and 2 sets of private parts. They could walk upright, like us, forwards or backwards, but they could also use all 8 limbs like a cartwheel, over and over, and very fast. There were 3 sexes because the male babies came out of the sun, the female babies out of the earth, and the hermaphrodites out of the moon, which is half sun and half earth. Naturally, the babies were circular, like their parents. They were very strong and very ambitious. So they climbed up to heaven and attacked the gods. At last, Zeus had an idea. "I'll cut them in half," he said. "Then they'll be too weak to be very wicked, and there'll be more of them to send us sacrifices." And so he cut them in half. He slit them down the middle like pickled onions or hard-boiled eggs. Then he told Apollo to turn their faces round so they could see the gash so they wouldn't forget. And then he healed the wounds. So Apollo turned their heads round and pulled the skin together and tied it in a knot at the navel. And then he smoothed the wrinkles away and shaped the breast with his shoemaker's smoothing iron. But he left a few wrinkles round the navel itself, you see, to remind men of what they had once been. Now, every half body was desperate for its other half. When they met, they embraced. They went on embracing. They refused to do anything else. And they neglected their business, and they died of hunger. When one half body died, the one left went off in search of another free half body and embraced that. More and more died. At last, Zeus took pity on them. Now, up till this time, their reproductive organs had been on the outside, and there'd been no sexual intercourse, and the males had had emissions on the ground like grasshoppers.
Like what?
Grasshoppers. And now Zeus got the idea of moving their sexual organs round to the front and invented copulation. So you see, we are only half men, like flatfish or banana splits. And all the time, we're looking for the bit that belongs to us. When someone actually meets this other half, there's an overwhelming feeling of love and intimacy. They can hardly bear to be parted for a moment. They may not be able to say exactly what they gain from being together. It's an instinct that can't be put into words. It's all because once upon a time, we were wholes, not halves, before we were split in two. And we all know very well what will happen if we misbehave, because we may be cut in half again, right down the nose, like relief carvings in profile. And so let us reverence the gods, in case they cut us in half again, and especially love, because he'll help us to find our other half, the bit that belongs to us.
Well, we can all laugh. It's not really quite so daft as it sounds. The human body is, in fact, hermaphrodite. If we were to dissect a male human body, we'd find it had rudimentary female organs, and vice versa. We are what we are simply because one set of organs has developed at the expense of the others. For example, each of us has a tiny little womb at the base of our bladder. We even have nipples, though we can never suckle our young. So it's not so mad after all.
Can we get some more wine?
Yes, there'll be...